Eagles football? We're talking Eagles football. You're listening to 4th and John. Wait, what the is a JAWN anyway?
What's up, Philadelphia? We are live, broadcasting from the beautiful new media studios right outside of Philadelphia for the final time in the 2016 season. Welcome to 4th and John, episode number 19. Well, boys and girls, that is a wrap. It is over. 7-9. 7-9. We went 7-9 after defeating the Dallas Cowboys in what was a glorified preseason game. We are now 7-9. And a lot of us predicted the Eagles would go 7-9. Why 7-9? Because we had a rookie head coach. We had a rookie quarterback starting, an all-new system coming off of a losing year after we got rid of Chip Kelly. That's why we predicted 7-9, 7-9, 7-9, 7-9. But now that the season is over, 7-9 is so easy to say in the beginning of the season. It's an expectation. It's what we put in front of us. It's what we all wrapped our heads around and said, yeah, probably 7-9. But now that it's a wrap, how does 7-9 really feel? I mean, it was a long journey. It had a lot of highs. It had a lot of lows. But we are 7-9. How does that feel to you? I want to turn it over to my main man, Gail Saunders, a.k.a. Eagle Sessions on Twitter.
I feel basic right now.
You feel a little basic?
I feel a little bit basic, but it's to be expected. I mean, if you think about it. We transitioned from a 3-4 to a 4-3. Rookie quarterback, rookie head coach. Lost Lane Johnson most of the season.
Yes.
7-9 is what you get when those kind of things happen. I mean, if the ball would have bounced a certain way, we would have been, the Lions game, the Cowboys game,
right,
the Ravens game. We could have been.
As it could have been. But as the great Bill Parcells once said, you are what your record states you are. And you're 7-9.
So you're calling me basic?
I'm not calling you basic. What I'm asking you is, now that we've arrived at the point that most of us perceived that we would get to, right? Because everybody was kind of around the same ballpark, 7-9, 8-8, 9-7. Far few in between were the, hey, we're going to be 4-12. Hey, we're going to be 11-5. That was two extremes. Most of us, the Eagles fans are smart. Look,
right.
We know exactly what to expect from this team. Most of us had it pegged. But now it's a long journey to get to that point. So now that we're here, does the future look bright, or are you more concerned as an Eagles fan at 7-9 than you know what I'm trying to ask you, right?
I mean, you can be concerned, but you really have to just come to the reality of this, the rebuild. Mm-hmm. Like, a rebuild is not pretty.
No.
A real rebuild looks like half-damaged goods.
Right.
So that's where you have to, connect, get deep in your roots. This is a rebuild. We're going through the process, and it's
is that a hashtag trust the process?
No,
right
not a trust the process.
Not a trust the process. Just enjoy the process.
We're just going through
the process.
He said enjoy.
I'm not enjoying it.
No, I take that back. Nobody actually enjoys the process. We got our man Philly Mike over here working the social media. You know the drill. Tell us where they can find us. And B, now that we are 7-9, how does that feel to you?
All right, you guys can hit us up at 4thandjohn.com, facebook.com/4thandjohn, or at 4thandjohn on Twitter. Guys, it was a crazy season. It really was. High expectations after that big 3-0 start, and then we pretty much shit the bed. I mean, it was a crazy, crazy season, but, I mean, we kind of expected this to happen, right? I mean, I was predicting 8-8. I believe you predicted 6-10. I believe Gail said 8-8. I'm taking a guess here.
I think 10-6.
10-6.
That was pre-Lane.
Yeah, so it was pretty late.
Okay.
But either way, it was a crazy season as it was. But, man, it was great to see, a lot of the Twitter people as well. I mean, even though the season was crazy as it was, meeting everybody at the tailgate that came from all over the country, from Vancouver, from Florida, from Colorado. All these people that showed up just to hang out at our tailgates, it was just something special, and it's only going to get bigger from here.
Good answer. But now that you're like, okay, we're at that point. Because you're right. We all kind of predicted somewhere, except for Gail, pre-Lane.
Hey, who predicted the Bradford trade, though?
Me.
First round.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Good for you.
You guys laughed at me.
No, listen, we're not laughing at you now. We're not
Right.
You're anything but basic. All right, Ziz, we got Ziz in the studio over there.
What's up, everybody? First, let me say I'm so sorry about not being on Twitter, guys. I got hacked. I'm trying to figure that out.
Hacked.
So,
what link were you clicking on that you got hacked? What
Ziz
sort
is a terrorist.
Can't say
of
that.
nasty ass
Really?
video?
Don't talk
what
about
sort
that,
of
Banana.
nasty ass skanky
I'm a
gross
saint
video?
over here. Come
Ziz
on
is an
now.
Al Qaeda.
Oh, my God.
No problem. You got hacked, girl. That's all right.
I did. But I love you all, and I miss you all. But, guys, listen, one thing I was really, really, really upset with, because, I was on the hype. I was riding the Ginger Jesus wagon, and I still am. And I'm really upset with how this season went down. I mean, I got injuries this season from pacing back and forth and getting mad, and my blood pressure's been up. But one thing we have to remember about Jesus here and the Ginger Jesus is it's not a pretty walk, right? I think this is going to set us up for something good.
Jesus walks.
Is this one of those memes where it's like one set of footprints and you're like, Carson Wentz, why did you leave me? And he was like, no, I was carrying you, my son. I was carrying you through the season. He's going to carry us through the offseason, too.
And the meme God speaks.
As we were speaking, there are at least 10 people running to their phones right now to make
Please, somebody do it.
Ginger
please.
Jesus, why did you leave me? There's only one set of footprints.
We're going to come back, and it's not a pretty process. The process is not fun. My heart is killing me. But at the end of the day, who knows? Look at the Cowboys. I hate to bring up the freaking Cowboys, but they went through a hell of a process. But look at them now.
They're making it far.
We got our man Rob in the studio. Rob, we're 7-9. How do you feel about it? Like digesting it now that it's become a reality. Now that the prediction has become a reality, how exactly do you feel about it?
Look at that face.
I had 8-8, which was kind of like some people had 7-9, some people had 6-10. I had 8-8, kind of like a 500 type season. I had obviously, as you could imagine, had high expectations after a 3-0 season, and then it all fell apart, and the team all went with it when Lane Johnson got suspended, and basically we finished at 7-9. I feel as if though the Eagles can only get better from here, get some weapons around Wentz. Hashtag weapons for Wentz.
Ooh.
Hashtag weapons for Wentz.
Bringing his hashtags with him.
And I think next year and beyond, we can only get better from here. So,
and we also have our man Evan Bubblegum here from Temple U.
Yes.
How you doing, buddy? 7-9. Give us your thoughts now that the season is done, and most of our predictions have come true. But having gone through it, the highs and the lows, again, easier to say when you start the season. How does it feel now?
I came in looking a little bit more optimistically than it turned out. I thought 9-7 going into the season. I was really thinking that Wentz was going to come in and just light the league on fire. And for the most part, I was impressed from what I saw by Wentz. But he still obviously needs those pieces around him. And to be completely honest with you, I'm not completely convinced by the coach. I'm convinced by the quarterback. I'm not convinced by the coach, and that scares me going forward.
Yeah, it is a little scary, and there's a lot of things that we're going to get into the show regarding the future of the Philadelphia Eagles. But before we get into the future of the Eagles, I wanted to take a kind of a look back. All right, because as I'm putting together that in memoriam video, Dawkins.
Yeah, we got me now! All right,
I
to the finalists.
Listen, before we get too hyped, as we were going on the air, the 15 finalists for the Hall of Fame were announced. And on the whiteboard in the studio, Justin just proudly put up Brian Dawkins is a finalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Let's go!
And listen, I was thinking about this on the car ride here. If you ever wanted to know what a Philadelphia Eagle looks like and is, we're for E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! If you ever wanted to know what a fucking Philadelphia Eagle is, it is Brian Dawkins.
All the way.
If we had a roster full of Brian Dawkins, take away the talent, because he is obviously top 15 finalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Road trip.
But if you were to take the heart, the passion, the work ethic, the never say die attitude, the leave it on the field mentality, if we had 53 Brian Dawkinses just from that standpoint on this roster, we wouldn't be talking about the Dallas Cowboys having home field advantage throughout the playoffs. We'd be talking about the Philadelphia Eagles having home field advantage and getting ready to make a Super Bowl run. There are kids out there that will never know what it's like to see Brian Dawkins play in a Philadelphia Eagles uniform, and that is a goddamn shame.
You're not the only one with goosebumps.
Because,
Look at this.
because as we romanticize, often do, former players, as we look at we remember the fonder times instead of the more negative times, there is no romanticizing what Brian Dawkins meant to this organization, what he meant, and what he brought to the table every single week. I couldn't be more prouder of the Pro Football Hall of Fame for doing the right thing. And when he is announced, I believe it's a week before the Super Bowl, a couple days before the Super Bowl.
So.
A couple days.
When it is announced,
The Saturday before, I believe.
the Saturday before, when it is announced that he is indeed a finalist in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, you better goddamn believe that 4th and JAWN is going to be planning a road trip to see that man get his gold jacket and them unveil that bronze bust of him that'll stay in the Hall of Fame forever. Justin, real quick, while I calm down from this little rant I'm on, who are the other finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame that were announced?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. I want to know because it was a log jam at safety. There was a lot of safeties in there. There was a little bit of a question. I was a little concerned whether or not he was actually going to get in.
Let me pull up the list. I don't have the final list. I only looked to make sure he made it, and he did. So I'll get the full list for you right now.
Unbelievable.
I couldn't be happier.
His
Right?
style
I have
cannot be
goosebumps,
duplicated
man,
or
still.
recycled.
I still do.
Yeah.
Who do you guys think is a player of all time? Somebody who can compare to Brian Dawkins. If you could compare, who would you compare?
Nobody.
Yeah.
But if you could
Reggie.
come close.
But Reggie wasn't exactly a vocal leader. He led on the field. You know what I mean? He was a community leader. I mean, one
He
of
led in the locker room.
He led in the locker room, but he wasn't. You're not going to get a doggone out of Reggie. Reggie was a beast, though. I mean, I guess you're right. If you were to kind of put it into terms, it would be. But Reggie was one of the best defensive ends to ever play the game.
Yeah.
Minister of defense. Dawkins was so versatile that he was just on another level. Justin, you got the rest of that list for me? Justin, buddy, your mic on?
There's going to be a lot of man tears shed.
There will be.
This is the last episode too, man. This is
Hey, not in here.
We're
pal.
ending in a
We're
bang.
talking about Ken.
If Brian Dawkins
Ken,
makes it,
definitely.
we all make it.
Exactly.
And he loves Philly.
And
He
he-
loves Philly.
And he just tweeted out just now. He said, "Blessed by the best." He just tweeted that after he just got announced to be in the 15 finalists.
Who else? What are the other 14 finalists?
All right, yeah. So I had to. I was screening the call during that real quick,
Yeah, no
but
problem.
so far they've only announced 6 of the 15. Those 6 are Brian Dawkins, Jason Taylor, LaDainian Tomlinson, Mort Anderson, Kurt Warner, and Don Correll.
Right there. Who do you think's got it out of those guys? Let's just say.
Obviously, if they only announced 6 already, Brian Dawkins is obviously one of the top. If the other
Brian Dawkins was
aren't announced,
Dawkins was listed first. He was the first name
he
called
got
off.
listed
Brian.
first.
I think Tomlinson has to get in.
Guaranteed.
First ballot. I loved LT.
Jason Taylor.
Gee, I was even surprised
I
to
was
see
surprised.
Jason Taylor on that list. To be honest with you,
Really?
He was
He was
dominating back in the day.
He was
was.
dominating, but he never. You know what I mean? When you start talking about like playoff appearances and rings and stuff like that,
right.
I mean, he's one of those
Kurt
guys.
Warner.
I truly think Kurt Warner should be in the Hall of Fame. Should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, when you go
Morton
to 3
Anderson?
Super.
He's been did it a long time.
Yeah, I get. I mean, it's a kicker.
B-Dog's getting in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
B-Dog.
Oh dude, I can't
thought-
wait.
Imagine that speech that's coming, Brian.
Oh, my
I
God.
was so excited.
Man,
Like, can you
tears will be
see
coming
that?
out.
First X-Men in the fucking Hall of Fame.
I'm just envisioning it now.
Wolverine.
I'm just envisioning it now because nobody can hold a microphone. Nobody can hold a speech. Nobody can do that quite like Brian Dawkins. I mean, we might be there. I might be like holy ghosting in the freaking stands at Canton. I might be, good Lord, Brian Dawkins made it.
Dawkins gonna take us to the promised land.
Hallelujah, the Lord is good, Brian Dawkins. I'm gonna be holy ghosting the whole goddamn time.
Man, tears will be coming out of me. You can guarantee that, especially from that speech.
Remember
I
you
really
said the last episode, why can't we just stick Brian on the field for every game and hook up an IV and give him
the Dawkins
Dawkins
IV
juice? Yeah, like really. Come on, Brian.